Hello, welcome back to the Burn, Fat, and Feast podcast. My name is Sarah, your host. Hello, welcome back to the Burn, Fat, and Feast podcast. My name is Sarah, your host. Now, as you probably know, on the Burn, Fat, and Feast podcast, we dive into some of the best fitness and wellness strategies for women in their 40s and beyond. That's right. If you are perimenopausal or menopausal, then this, my friend, is for you. Not only today, but all of our episodes are geared towards you. Now, I know when a lot of people say perimenopause or menopause, that often is triggered in your head. Oh, doom and gloom. It's that second season of life where things just start snowballing into one thing after the next, and all the things start hurting and issues come up. However, I want to rephrase this. I want you to think of this phase of your life differently now and as you walk forward. I want you to think of perimenopause and beyond as our up leveled years. We are leveling up in this 2.0 phase of our life. Okay. Don't you like the way that sounds better? Let's level up. You've leveled up in your gaming here in your 2.0 years. All right. So today we're talking about how to tone up in perimenopause. I hear this phrase a lot from women I'm talking to in everyday life and from new members inside Burn, Fat, and Feast. Ladies will say constantly, I want to tone up. I just want to feel toned. I want to look toned. So let's talk about what that actually means today and how to get that toned look. But first, it's important to understand what perimenopause is all about. So, perimenopause is the transitional phase leading up to menopause. Typically starts in your 40s. We typically see perimenopause start in your 40s. However, perimenopause can start in your early 30s. Anywhere between our 30s and our late 50s, we can experience perimenopause and perimenopause symptoms. Now, during this time, we have lots of hormonal fluctuations. We often call this a roller coaster because we have changes in estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. So, ultimately, we start to see a decline. Now, in perimenopause, they're all over the place. Ultimately, we start to see a decline in estrogen. And so this roller coaster and this decline can lead to various physical and emotional changes. Some of those include the dreaded weight gain, muscle loss, and decreased bone density, not things that we need to live our best, healthiest life. So we need to address these changes through exercise. We talk about many other ways to do this with mindset, with nutrition, with resting and digestive health and all these other things. However, today we're specifically talking about exercise and how we get that toned look. Okay, now that we know what perimenopause is all about, and it's not a doom and gloom, it is our leveled up 2.0 season, let's talk about how we get toned. Okay, so the word toned, sometimes I feel like it's misinterpreted. And so let's dive into what this looks like and losing weight and all the different terms maybe that we have used before. Okay. So if you lose weight, if you step on a scale and maybe you've lost, let's say, 10 pounds, that truly doesn't mean a whole lot, because that 10 pounds could be just fat, which is what we want. Or that 10 pounds could be muscle. It could be bone density that you lost. It could be water weight. And so losing weight only means that you're becoming a smaller version of yourself. It does not mean that you're losing what you want to lose. So you may not be tight. You may have loose skin when you're losing weight. And so that's where the toned part comes in. Most women say, I want to feel toned. I've lost weight, but I'm not toned. I'm mushy. I have loose skin. I don't feel like I have that tight look. And that's what they're after. And when I ask them, and this is what they say time and time again, and that's what they want. So toned typically means you want to have that firm appearance and that firm feel to your body. So if someone were to touch your arm, you'd want it to feel firm and not loosey-goosey, so to speak, right? Okay, so here is the truth about toning up. You cannot tone up without building muscle. And so I see the phrase tone up as a sexy way to say, I want to build muscle. A lot of women have this mindset block on muscle. And when we say build muscle, it sounds like masculine. It sounds like lots of testosterone. It sounds like I'm going to bulk when I say I'm going to build muscle. But when you say I'm going to tone up, it sounds nicer, right? And you say it with a higher pitched voice because it sounds like a nicer, more feminine thing to do. I want the long, lean muscles, is what women say. All right, so let's talk a few things about this. Then we're going to talk about strength training and how to get that look. So the first thing is you will not bulk up. Okay. Number one, we all have different types of muscle mass. Some of us carry more muscle mass than others, just naturally, genetically, we carry more muscle. Some of us carry less muscle than others. All right. So that's the first thing to know. So secondly, when you're gaining muscle, you're going to gain it wherever you're working, right? Whatever muscle you're targeting is where you're going to gain muscle. We can't spot reduce fat, but we can spot increase muscle mass depending on if we want it in our shoulders or we want it in our legs or wherever. But you're not getting that bulky look because here's the truth. You don't have enough testosterone in your body to bulk up, ladies. And if you do want to bulk up, if you do want to enter, let's say, a weightlifting competition, you are going to have to massively increase your macronutrients, massively, and get sources to help you from the outside, like HGH or other testosterone injections, etc. Things that are not natural. You will have to get help if you want to bulk up. Now, if you're sitting here saying, I know I understand what you're saying, but I have experienced bulking before, there are many different reasons for that. And we're not diving into all of that today. That's not what this podcast is about. But I will say this, if you have felt like you were bulking, it's most likely because you weren't utilizing strength training effectively for what you were trying to accomplish. You were either using the wrong approach or your macronutrients were not on point. Again, this is not about nutrition today, but nutrition does play a big part in this. And we talk a lot about nutrition. We talk about tracking macronutrients, how many macros, proteins, fats, and carbohydrates you need in your body, how to change those. We talk all about this in Burn, Fat, and Feast. So if you want more information on that, join us in our membership and we'll dive all into that. And so that's part of what we do. But today we're talking just about the muscle mass itself and how to tone up with the strength training alone. So if you have experienced the bulking before, it could have been because your macros were way off point. I've been there. I've definitely made that mistake years ago where I was like, okay, I'm gaining muscle, but I'm bulking, but I was also gaining fat. And so, and the other piece of this is sometimes when you're gaining muscle, you're also retaining some water. That's natural. That will slowly dissipate. You start building muscle. You have to give yourself like 8 weeks. Let's be honest here. This is not overnight. You'll have to give yourself about 8 weeks for that that water retention to start to dissipate and settle down. But water retention is part of the process. Okay. So don't freak out when you start strength training to tone up, but that is part of what happens. Okay. So if you have experienced bulking, I just wanted to touch on that really quick. I kind of diverted, but we're back on track now. So building muscle does not happen with cardio. And so if you want to tone up, guess what is not going to happen? You're not going to tone up by doing cardio, any type of cardio. You're not toning your body by doing cardio. Muscle building muscle and maintaining muscle. That is what transforms your body. You want to see a physical transformation? Gain some muscle mass, friend. It is truly what I call the organ of longevity. Muscle mass and muscle itself is the organ of longevity for many reasons. We're going to dive into some of those right now. So let's talk about building muscle. How do we do that? We have to strength train. Strength training is a superior form of exercise. When we're talking cardio, we're talking strength training, we're talking boot camps, we're talking combination of cardio and strength. It's straight up strength training. And I know you want to go to Pilates and you want to do your bar classes and you think that's going to give me the little tiny lengthened, small, feminine tone muscles. That's not doing it because we're losing muscle mass at a more rapid rate. Now, there's a time and a place for Pilates. There's a time and a place for bar workouts, and it's challenging your muscle fibers in different ways. And that's great. But if you want the toned look, you have to challenge yourself with bigger weights and strength training and be intentional. So let's talk about why strength training is superior. Okay. I got a few of these here for you. Okay. Number one, hormonal balance. So strength training has a significant positive impact on hormonal health. During perimenopause, your estrogen levels, like I said earlier, start to decline, which can lead to increased fat storage and loss of muscle mass. In fact, we start losing muscle mass in our 20s, and we'll talk about that in just a second. So the benefits of strength training and helping your hormonal balance is that resistance exercises help stimulate the production of growth hormone and testosterone. Now, I know I just talked about growth hormone and testosterone a minute ago. We're talking about how to stimulate it naturally. Growth hormone and testosterone are crucial for muscle repair and growth. Those hormones help counteract the decline of estrogen and promote a better hormonal balance. So it's very important that we keep growth hormone and testosterone at a high level. And again, it starts to decline as we get older. All right. The second reason that strength training is superior here with that toned look is that it boosts your metabolism. As we age, our metabolism naturally starts to slow down. This leads to an increase in, you probably guessed it, fat storage. So muscle tissue itself burns more calories at rest than fat tissue. That makes muscle mass critical for maintaining a healthy metabolism. I've used this scenario many times before, so you may have heard this. If you follow me for a while, you listen to podcasts, or you're a Burn Fat and Feast member, you certainly have heard me say this before. But I always give the visual, the scenario of, let's pretend like you are the friend with a lot of muscle mass and you're sitting next to your BFF on the couch and you are watching your favorite Netflix episode, whatever that is. Okay. Just picture yourself sitting there with your best friend. She doesn't have as much muscle mass as you do. You're superior as far as muscle mass. Now you weigh the same. Let's say you both weigh 135 pounds, but she does not carry the muscle. You have like 20% more muscle mass on your body than she does. While you're sitting there and you're watching your favorite Netflix episode, guess what's happening? You, my friend, are burning more calories just by sitting there. You're both sitting, you're both watching Netflix, and you're burning more calories because you have more muscle mass, and that is boosting your metabolism. So that is going to continually give you that toned look just while you're sitting there watching your favorite Netflix episode. So strength training increases your muscle mass, which in turn boosts your resting metabolic rate, your RMR. That means you're burning more calories throughout the day, even when you're not working out, when you're sitting. And guess what? Even when you're sleeping. Bonus. Hello, that's a bonus right there. And number three, this is why strength training is superior to getting that toned look. When you're trying to get that toned look, many people, women especially, express that desire to get toned, which again means that you want to look lean and defined without bulking. That term toned, again, remember, It refers to having a low body fat percentage and increased muscle definition. So strength training is essential for building and maintaining muscle. When you combine that with, like I said, a really healthy diet, or you're just super knowledgeable about your macronutrients and what your particular body needs, and you we're going to sprinkle in a few little cardio sessions in there. It helps reduce your fat. It allows the underlying muscle to show through, which gives you exactly what you want, that toned appearance. Now, let's talk about strength training versus cardio, because I know I've done this for so many years. I've been in this field for 27 years at the time of this podcast recording. And so I know that as I started this whole career in my early 20s and now in my late 40s, I know that some of you are still sitting there saying, okay, right, I get it, but I'm still going to bulk up if I strength train, and I'm still going to get on the elliptical. I'm still going to do all the cardio, and cardio makes me feel good. And I get it. It helps, it gets those endorphins running, and those endorphins are addictive. Been there, done that, my friend. I spent 2 to 3 hours a day on cardio machines for longer than I care to admit. But I want to talk about this now because I know some of you are still skeptical. I want to talk about the difference between strength training and cardio. Okay. So let's compare the two. Number one, muscle maintenance and growth. Let's talk about muscle maintenance and growth with strength training versus cardio workouts. With strength training, this involves resistance exercises such as lifting weight, body weight exercises, resistance band workouts. These exercises are designed to target and strengthen specific muscle groups, right? So if you're like, I want some more sculpted shoulders, we can target that specific muscle group and give you more muscle mass in your shoulders while we strength train. Now let's talk about cardio workouts with muscle maintenance and growth. Now, cardio workouts have their place. They're very beneficial for cardiovascular health and endurance. But cardio primarily burns calories during the activity, and it does not significantly contribute to muscle building. So you're going to burn some calories while you're doing the activity. Now, strength training, you're going to burn the calories while you do the activity and then beyond. Research says that after you do a strength training session, you can continually burn calories from that session up to 72 hours later. 48 hours to 72 hours later, you are still benefiting from that strength training session. Again, my friend, we're talking about strength training. We're not talking about your favorite boot camp classes that are still getting your heart rate super duper elevated, or, doing some cardio sprint intervals in there. We're talking about straight up strength training. All right. All right. Now let's compare strength training and cardio with bone density. Let's talk about bone density with strength training and cardio. So strength training, weight-bearing exercises improve bone density, which is crucial for reducing the risk of osteoporosis, which is very common during perimenopause and menopause due to declining estrogen levels. Now, with cardio workouts, non-weight-bearing cardio, like cycling or swimming, have minimal impact on bone density. However, some weight-bearing cardio like walking or running does provide some benefits. Again, I've talked about walking so much. And if you follow me on Instagram as well, I talk a lot about getting your daily movement, getting your steps in for this very reason. And most of my cardio workouts are coming from simply walking these days, and not the sprints and not the high impact 45-minute long. I don't do any of that anymore. So when it comes to bone density, we need weight-bearing exercises. This is why strength training is so superior. Yes, you can get some benefit from something like walking as well. All right, now let's talk about fat loss and compare strength training and cardio workouts. So with strength training promotes fat loss by increasing muscle mass and boosting metabolism. You get what I talked about earlier, the afterburn effect. We call that EPOC. Exercise post-oxygen consumption is what EPOC stands for. That's the afterburn effect, which means that you continue to burn those calories after your workout. All right. So we're talking about fat loss. Hello. Don't you want to work? Don't you want to work out today and continue to burn those calories while you're sleeping from strength training? I mean, I do. Like, raise your hand, raise both hands up high if you want to do that. Versus cardio workouts. Cardio workouts are effective for burning calories, again, during the workout, but have less impact on long-term metabolic rate compared to strength training. Do you understand this? Are you getting it? Strength training is superior. Superior for the toned look. It's superior when we look at it versus cardio as well. Now, how do you do it? All right, I'm going to give you some general recommendations for strength training, but we also have a free 5-day fitness challenge that you can join that will help walk you through this to get you started, or just to show you how it is that we program this for our members every single week, month, and year inside Burn, Fat, and Feast. So before I dive into all of that, let me tell you, if you want to join our free 5-day fitness challenge, we have one coming up in June. If you're listening to this in real time, if you aren't, we are offering these throughout the year. So you can go ahead and sign up, and then we'll let you know when the next one is. But simply text the word challenge to 615-808-8317. Text the word challenge to 615-808-8317. Okay. Now let me dive into some general recommendations when it comes to strength training. Okay. All right. So that's always the next question is how, okay, great. How do I do this? It's very intimidating to walk into a gym and say, okay, I'm supposed to work my upper body. All right. What does that mean? Did I do enough? How many reps do I do? Did I do 30 minutes? Do I do 45 minutes? There's a lot to think about, right? A lot of overwhelm can set in. And so again, that's why we're offering the free 5-day fitness challenge. And that's why we tell our members exactly what to do. So there's no guesswork on your part. But if you're not there yet, you want to do this on your own, here we go. We're going to talk about general recommendations. All right. Number one, you can utilize compound movements with strength training. So exercises like squats, deadlifts, lunges. Sometimes we don't think about these as compound movements, but any type of leg exercise like that, you are utilizing more than one body part at a time. That's what we're talking about when we talk about compound movements. So when you're squatting, you're working the front of the leg, the quadriceps, the back of the leg through the hamstrings, the gluteus maximus, the gluteus medius. You're working hip flexors. There's lots of muscles working. That's why we call it a compound movement. You can also do things like bench presses. We'll work multiple muscle groups, your chest, some of your shoulders, some of your arms as well. So utilizing compound movements will help provide more efficient workouts and more calorie burn and greater hormonal benefits, right? So compound movements help increase your muscle mass and your strength more effectively. That leads to better metabolic health and hormone balance, which we need in perimenopause, my friend. All right, number two, you can utilize progressive overload. Now, we also utilize progressive overload in Burn, Fat, and Feast. Progressive overload is many things. A lot of people feel like progressive overload just means, keep doing the same exercise and add weights to it next week, and the next week add more weights. That is one way you can implement progressive overload. However, you can also, instead of just increasing the weight, you can increase the reps. That's progressive overload. You can increase the intensity, the length of your workouts, the different type that you're doing. So all of that ensures continuous muscle growth and strength improvements. Here's the thing. Your muscles need a stimulus to grow. Your muscles don't have eyes. They don't know if the stimulus is that you're holding the squat for 5 seconds today versus not holding it last week with 10 pounds. It doesn't know. It doesn't know the difference. Does that make sense? So whether you are holding weights and you're doing squats fast and you're doing 20 of them, or you're not holding weights and you're just pausing at the bottom of your squat and you're only doing 8 of them, both of those are creating a stimulus with your muscle. That's what your muscle needs. That's what your muscle knows. It just knows, oh, I'm working we're creating a stimulus. There's a stimulus being created right now. I'm feeling it. And it requires that muscle to grow and see strength improvements. Okay. So we talk a lot about heavy lifting, and we do lift heavy and burn fat and feast, but we also change our progressive overload by utilizing different reps, doing different types of duration. We do time under tension as far as fast and slow tempos. So lots of ways that we implement this to create the muscle stimulus. Okay. The other way that you can utilize strength training is frequency and rest. So I want you to aim for at least 2 to 3 strength training sessions per week. Okay. 2 if you're very, very beginner, 3, 4, maybe if you're more advanced. We like to do about 4 and burn fat and feast a week. And I want you to focus on different muscle groups to allow for adequate recovery. So depending on, if you're only doing 2 a week, then you're going to do 1 upper body day, 1 lower body day. So you can get every muscle group in your body. If you're doing 4, you may split it up a little bit different, or you may do 2 lower body days. So there's lots of different ways to do this, but you want to make sure that you are getting all the muscle groups and you are giving yourself adequate recovery. That means you need proper rest and recovery to help repair and grow your muscle. Please, please, please do not do biceps on Monday and then biceps again on Tuesday. That also means you don't want to do a full body strength training workout on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, because you're using the same muscles over and over and over again. You need to give yourself rest and recovery. That is the only way that you allow your body the time to repair and grow the muscle. Okay. All right. Okay. So the toned look that you're after is all about what? Building muscle, building muscle. So you could say it sexier. We're going to build some muscle. You can say it however you want. You can call it toned. You can sexify it, or you can, make it more manly sounding, build muscle. But the tone look is about muscle build. Muscle build is the body composition or the physical transformation that you are after. It's the tight look that you are after. And it only happens when you lift weights. So how do you do it? Are you confused? Are you overwhelmed? Come back to me. If you feel overwhelmed, come back to me, because we can help you. You need a step-by-step plan. First and foremost, whether you're doing it with us and Burn Fat and Feast, or whether you're doing it somewhere else, I want you to understand you have to have a plan. Please do not walk into a gym and just say, I'm going to do upper body. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. Let me just hop on this machine and do a few, and not have a plan for what you're doing, how many reps you're doing, the weight that you're doing it, how long you're working out. That is a recipe for disaster and burnout, because you don't know. You don't know if you're making progress. You don't know where you started and where you're going without that plan. We do this every single day. In fact, I create a plan for our members every single month. Every week, our plan is different for a reason. And so if you're overwhelmed, or you're like, I'm not even really sure where to start, or I've been lifting weights for a while and I'm not seeing progress, or yeah, you're talking to me, I've been doing those boot camp workouts and I don't know if it's the right thing or not. I'm doing something, and something is 100% better than nothing. But if you're not sure if you're on the right path, because you don't know if you have a step-by-step plan, you don't know if what you're doing is research-based, just join our free 5-day fitness challenge. We'll help you. We'll show you. I'm going to give you 5 workouts, all 5 days, different types of genres. We're going to do full body. We'll do lower body. We'll do upper body. Yeah, we'll do a little cardio in there. We'll do a recovery as well, because again, that's important. So again, if you're listening at the time of this release of this podcast episode, we're hosting our next free 5-day fitness challenge on June 2nd, 2024. However, we are offering these throughout the year. We most likely will offer them years to come. So if you're listening to this later on, join us for the free 5-day fitness challenge. Text the word challenge to 615-808 8317 to join us. All right. So, in summary, strength training offers so many advantages for perimenopausal women. We must strength training. We are losing muscle mass at a rapid rate. We have to challenge our muscles and not just feel the burn, but actually reach the point where we're getting muscle failure, meaning we are lifting to the point where we're like, I literally physically can't lift anymore right now. My muscle is done. We have to get to that point so that we can stay healthy for as long as we want to. I don't know about you, but I'm planning to live to be 105. That's my goal. That's as of earlier this year, I decided that. I'm 46 right now. I'm going to live to be 105. That's my number, because 100 doesn't seem like it's good enough. We're going to go to 105. And if I want to live to 105 and I want to live well there, right? Because I don't want to be sitting in a bed for years. I want to be active at 105. I have to maintain my muscle mass. So I'm reducing my risk of injury so I can physically do the things that I want to do later in life, right? And so strength training has so many advantages, not only in perimenopause, way beyond that. We have better hormonal balance, increased metabolism. We can, yes, achieve the toned look and that defined physique. The toned, defined physique is all about muscle. So again, cardio is important for cardiovascular health. Yes. Incorporating regular strength training into your fitness routine is crucial, though, for maintaining that muscle mass and your bone density. We don't want broken bones as we get older, and it increases your overall well-being during this leveled up 2.0 stage of your life, my friend. All right, that is it for now. Again, if you want to join us for our free 5-day fitness challenge, oh yeah, we are going to be doing some giveaways too. So if you love some freebies, join us for the free challenge, and we're doing some giveaways. So you have a chance to win some fun stuff just by getting up and moving your body. You can text the word challenge to 615-808-8317. As we close up today, remember, it is never too late to build strength and embrace a healthier, more vibrant you. Until next time, take care, stay strong, and keep moving, my friend. See you soon.